Hey there. So you make music, whether you mix, you master, or you just record vocals, but you're in the market looking for a computer for music production, and you're confused on which one to get because there are a ton of options right now. So there are three main areas you need to look out for: the CPU, which to me is the most important, the RAM, and then the storage. I'm going to categorize these laptops into low budget, mid budget, and high budget. Okay, again, there's a point you start spending money, you only get as much return on your investment, in my opinion. So that's I'm capping it between $500 to about $2,000 spend. Okay, so for $500 to $1,000, this would be like your low budget laptops. Okay, but this will still work fine for music production. Right here we have the HP Victus 15, and this is a Ryzen 5 with a H processor. You can see that. Now, how do you know how powerful your processor is? Right, what you have to do is copy the CPU, just the CPU. Then come to this website, it's a free website, cpubenchmark.net. There are other benchmark websites. What you have to do is come to the CPU benchmark right here, and then you come to search your CPU model, and then you simply paste it in here. So you can see we have this CPU mark at 17,000. Now you don't want to go less than 10,000. Okay, 10,000 should be the absolute minimum, because if you go less than 10,000 or you hover around that 10,000 range, you're going to be experiencing lags and audio dropouts when you're recording, because the CPU will not be powerful enough to process the audio. Okay, especially when you have like ton of effects running. So I recommend you stick within at least 10,000, but this 17,000, almost 18. So this is going to be really smooth. And even though it's on the budget, it's going to really serve. Okay. Then the next low budget laptop is this guy right here, the MSI thing. And I'm going to copy again, even though it's a Core i5. Now, because it's a Core i5, that doesn't mean it's less capable. So I'm going to copy this right here, and then I'm going to paste it in the CPU benchmark, then paste it. You can see that 17,000, which is still really good. It's just about 1,000 off from the previous model, right? Which is still really good. So you're still going to get a really good performance off of this. Now, the issue with low budget gaming laptops is that the build quality sometimes may not be the best, because it's going to be made out of plastic. So that's why they are more affordable. But if you're going to be moving your laptop from place to place, you can either get like a protective bag, so that it doesn't break, or it doesn't go bad quickly. But if we come up to a higher budget, you start having more decent quality builds. Okay, like this Acer Nitro, this is a Ryzen 5. Okay, and also a H processor. I have to just copy this again, paste this in here. You can see again 17,000, which is still a really good CPU. Again, what you may get here at this budget level is slightly better graphics and also slightly better build quality. All right, then the next mid-range I recommend is the Asus TUF gaming laptop. This is a really good laptop. I know people use this and they enjoy it. All you have to do is just again copy this. Let's see how this looks. If maybe for whatever reason it's not showing the model, you may need to adjust the spelling, maybe clear that. Yeah, so you can see again still at 17,000, which is still a really good laptop. So we've covered for low budget and mid budget. Now let's go to the higher budget laptops. So right here, you see we have a newer graphics 5060, the RTX 5060, and also we have 13th gen Core i7. So if I just copy this and I paste it in here, you can see we have 23,000, which is a lot higher, right? Again, you're going to get smooth performance with this laptop, barely any lags, barely any glitching. You can see we have the 13th gen, again, Core i7. I think it's the same CPU. Oh, no, it's slightly different. Still 13th gen, but a slightly different model. So I'm going to copy this. We have a 4070, slightly older graphics, but even though it's slightly older, that doesn't mean it's less powerful, okay? So let's copy the CPU and paste this right here, and then paste this here. So you can see we have 26,000 in here, which is still a really good CPU. So you can see with any of these laptops, you're going to get really good performance, whether you're going for the low budget, the mid budget, or the high budget. And obviously there are way more expensive laptops, but I think after the $2,000 mark, you may not get much more for your money in terms of music production, because what you typically get at higher budget is better graphics card that is more powerful, right? Maybe 4K screen, that is 4K resolution screens or OLED screens, and fancy lights and all of that. If you want that, sure, you can go for higher budget laptop, higher price laptops. But if you just want something that works really well for music production, you can't go wrong with any of these recommendations. But again, make your own research. You may prefer other brands, because there are other brands that will offer you the same models. Like for example, we have this Acer Nitro for this spec, for this model. You can also find a MSI theme for this model. You can also find a HP Victus for this model. and even a Dell for this model, right? So there are so many brands that will give you similar spec. So you may prefer other brands, just look for this spec. That's the most important thing.